Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I am C. This is your weekly sports card chart blast where we take a look at the price action of our favorite collectibles. Price is truth. What do I mean by price is truth? There's a lot of different things you can look at in terms of indicators, correlations between different financial instruments, whatever. I hear people talking about that, but let's just keep it really, really simple. There's no value to cards. The only value is what someone else is going to pay for the most part. And so the price action is right there in front of us. So we don't have to worry about dividends, interest, earnings, anything like that. The price is right there. Price is truth. It's going to tell you what you need to know, all right? You can look at these other things, but they should be secondary and tertiary indicators. It is all about the price. And so that's what we focus on here, see what we can see. And it's not about predictions or anything like that. It's about risk, reward, managing risk, probabilities, things of that nature. So I try and simplify it so we can just have some fun here. So anyways, over the past quarter, the card ladder index has been ripping. They've added a sector here, entertainment. Can you imagine what's in there and why it's doing so well? I actually looked at this a couple days ago and it was up 100% for the month. It's like, well, that's not too sustainable, but up 14% over the last quarter. It's a good number. It's a good number, but again, we'll take a look at that index here, and I think you can probably guess what is in there and why they added it. It's a very popular segment of the hobby right now. So football, golf, entertainment up double digits. Soccer, low end, mid end, falling off just a little bit, not getting crushed by any stretch here, but coming off just a bit here. Baseball ticking up, and the high end in Pokemon doing well as well. So anyways, all right, the golf index, Tiger Woods is a big component of that golf index, had a rip up into this resistance zone here. When something is up hugely like the golf index is, typically they're not the leaders the next time around. At some point that does shift here, and this seems like a logical place for people to perhaps take a little bit of break from Tiger Woods here. Very thin volume up to a prior reference point here, so your risk reward, your probabilities would say a decent place to sell. Certainly could keep going, but it may be just in your best interest to watch it at this point here. So that's how it goes sometimes. Jack Nicklaus also at the top of his range, and so the golf index, again, maybe it reverses a little bit. These are two of the bigger components within that index overall. Entertainment, who knew that the Marvel PMG market is giving a huge lift to that particular sector here. Mystique, this was a $5,000 card not too long ago, and now you're sitting at $1,200. So when you have these types of moves on very low volume, sometimes it just it pays just to watch. Going from $200 to $5,000 in a sale, there's no need to jump in on something like that here. We've seen this before. Just let it come back down to a natural level. Now it's difficult to determine a natural level for these cards here. There just isn't this reference point where a ton of people were buying them. They're very limited, and so that's kind of the caveat. It's like, all right, sit back, watch, see how this goes. But at the same time, there's only 100 of these, in some variations. And when you have that, 101 people are looking at it, then you can kind of name your price until one person drops out, and then you found your market price here. So when they're more limited, they can sure get a little bit more wild if these were base cards or something like that with 10, 15,000 examples out there in a high grade. Then you could probably get some more volume and figure out what's going, and get a better sense of what's going on. But right now, monster rip again. I would just watch at this point. At some point, when people that are buying up in here start to get their handed to them, then that's gonna bring out the sellers. It'll overwhelm the people that are looking to buy, and you return to, I'm not saying this level, but I think you get a much better shot on a lot of these cards here. May not happen right away or any stretch. And full disclosure, I find Mystique more attractive than Dylan Cease. All right, so there you go. If you watched my video the other day, Captain America Raw, top of the range here. It's a $13 card. If someone's gonna pay $20, are you really gonna think anything of it? So 90 cents is your bottom. You're probably not seeing that anytime soon here. And this is kind of the upper end of your range, and so maybe we see a little wind come out of the Marvel market. It's been an incredible story over the last month or two. But what also happens is people start digging through their shoe boxes, trying to find everything they can to take advantage of this. And again, that brings out a lot of the selling, and you can easily overwhelm whatever nascent demand is in that market here. Wolverine, he's the best of what he does here. PSA $916, top of the range as well. Very thin volume. So again, probably sure it could go. Probabilities would say, yeah, you're coming back down to an area where there's more buying interest here. So again, a lot of these things risk reward doesn't set up. favorably, but Loki is putting in some new highs. Again, very thin volume, going from $800 up to over, up to $1,500 here. So it's a clean double on that card. And again, they're a little bit more limited, and they are good-looking cards, man. No question about it here. So if they keep going, it may just might be worth it just to watch at this point here. So Joe Rogan, he's in the news now recently as well. So pretty relevant, and that's what you need in this market. Doesn't matter the card, you just need relevance for that card here, and he's pretty darn relevant to this point. So decent uptrend, bottom of the range, ripping on low volume, top of the range, and perhaps that interest subsides in the near term to bring it back to a level. So right now it's $645. That was the high price. Currently sitting at 300. And so if you saw that cut in half, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. But if it doubled, it would surprise me, but not as much if it got cut in half. So or maybe versa. I favor more downside. Let's just go with that. So, but I don't know for sure. Daniel Jones, Silver Prism, giving some lift to the football index here. So we've got a little double bottom action here, and it's coming back into its range. So again, coming up into an area. It's very thin. It's very, very thin here. Not a lot of people. Still not a lot of people on board with this one here. So getting into an area where these people might say, okay, I can get most of my money back or whatever. And so psychologically, this would be kind of your area to sell when you have these thin moves that are very quick and exaggerated. They tend to reverse themselves quickly. Not always, but most of the time. Matthew Stafford, rookie patch autograph, top of the range coming off here. I saw a video. I don't even know who it was, but he was talking about buy Matt Stafford cards now. It's like, you're fucking kidding me. It's like, when is he going to be more relevant than he is at this moment here? So coming off the top of the range on that one. Limited card, there's no question about it. Could get some interest, and you could get some buying in here, but it's like, is this right now the time you have to buy a Matt Stafford card? You can't wait a couple weeks for after the Super Bowl or off season or anything like that. So Joe Burrow, 2020 contenders breaking out to new highs, hanging on, starting to roll over just a little bit. Very thin volume again. Could shoot back down to $2,000, or it could go to $6,000. I don't know, but once you start to see a lot of buying, then you have a better sense of that's where the price could maybe be. Now, there's not that many of them, so getting a lot of buying on this card? Probably not. So, but maybe like $2,000 is where there's been historically some support and resistance, a little bit of a battle. And if you're patient, perhaps you see that again at some point. But darn it, he does look good. Tom Brady Chrome. Top Scrum 2002, $80 card. It's the Raw coming back into an area where there's been buying over the past. So this was your resistance, and now it is support, and you're coming back on that again. So this is a very, it looks like perhaps a one-off, very low volume. Didn't grind lower to get to this point, just shot down. So something perhaps happened with that auction. You may not get that, and if it comes back in this area, then that is your price. But you start to see a few sales down here. Then that buying interest is peaking up again, perking up again, peaking interest. I don't know, and it may be a better opportunity. You could have a little bit more confidence in buying, like you did back in this area the last time. One of the last times it was down in that price area here. And Trey Young with an absolute puke here, consolidation, getting smacked down here. This is the hollow in a raw. It's $40. Yeah, sure. Maybe it goes to $25, $30 or something like that, or it rifles back up. If you are a Trey Young believer, then I think he's starting to present you with an opportunity you have not had in a while. So formerly a $600 card, and now you're $40, people. So risk management if you're trying to play this game for money. If you're a collector, then just have fun with this. That's what I'm having fun with. I'll use it from time to time to get a sense of the market. But if you're a collector, don't worry about it. If you're an investor, then learn this stuff. You do yourself a favor here. Luca, purple, raw, 2018 optic as well, broken up trend, and now it's coming back down. A lot of buying in this $100 to $120 area, and maybe that's where it wants to head. Currently sitting at $200, so could it get cut in half once again off of a high from $1,000? So yeah, that's it's not working out too well. Michael Jordan raw, $924. So condition sensitive. You had a lot of buying in this area here, but as the steam has kind of come out from the NBA market, then he's not immune to it either. So the longer term uptrend is good. So you had kind of this range, and now you had this range, and you're back into this one. Risk reward sets up pretty darn favorably, but it is wild. It is wild stuff. And I'm not going to even guess at where the next move is. All I know is, when you get to the top of the range, you kind of sell it. When you get to the bottom range, you look to buy it. So that could be interesting if you find something that looks good here. Aaron Rodgers. These are the high end markets. So the high end market's moving. Why? Okay, Jordan and Aaron Rodgers. And this card's been cut in half as well. So sitting at $1,700. Last time we kind of snuck out of the range, we came back in, cut in half, and now we're doing it again here. So it's very thin volume. I don't know if the next one brings it up here on an MVP announcement or if it continues to glide lower. But this is kind of your line in the sand if that is the card you are looking for. That BGS9.5. Jackie Robinson in the high-end market as well. Cut in half. This one stings. Someone spent $100,000 on this card, and the next sale came in at $50,000. So when you see these real low-volume moves, it could go from 20 to 100. And you're like, oh, man, I should have bought it at 20. But then this is what happens. You don't know when that halving comes back into play here, and so sometimes it's just better to watch and join the crowd a bit where all that buying comes in. So for now, this person's sitting here like, I just lost $50,000 on this card. Maybe they don't care, I don't know, but there's a couple of purchases here, so maybe it starts to stabilize a little bit. But I'm guessing this person might want to cut their losses and add to the overall supply, which can put some downward pressure on the prices. Willie Mays PSA 4, $7,500. Upward trend is still intact here. Coming back off into the range. There could be some more downside, right? But this has been an area where there has been a lot of buying before. When we got to here, it looked like more like a 1 or a 2 off, all right? So that it gets back down here, I don't know, because people are super happy to pick it up. And so, coming into here, I think people will be really happy to pick it up. It just might have to be one of those one-off weird sales that happen from time to time. So if he starts to grind down on volume, then okay, that's a different story. But we haven't really seen that in the past. Been able to hold this area pretty well. And Tom Brady, I think this is wrapping up the high-end index here. So again, kind of grinding in a volatile range, 16,600 upside, 10,500 downside. The way that you want to think about this, if you are in it for an investment, is this is kind of your risk. Right here, there's no buying, right? There's no market memory. And so if it does come down here, there's a decent chance that it falls all the way to this level of where there were a lot more buyers in the past. All right, that's kind of your reference point where a lot of people remember that price. Nobody remembers this price, so that's like $2,000. That is not insignificant. So if you are buying here, it starts to really get below that 10,500, and you start to see a few transactions in there, and it keeps grinding lower. However, because there is a lot of interest in Tom Brady. Use that to your advantage because you may be able to get it back a heck of a lot cheaper. So again, no guarantees here. You just kind of have to play the probabilities and the odds a little bit here. Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh man, they got me. All right, they snuck some soccer in here. The high end index had some soccer, and I got suckered into it. So here we go. Here's your resistance zone, and we're kind of back up to that area again. So again, there's not a lot of these out there. So it doesn't take much for one person just to come in and say, I'm just going to spend more money on this one. High-end index. Ja's high-end. So $6,000 blue out of 199 and a PSA 9, putting in some new highs. So there's enough people that say, I like Ja, I want to buy Ja, and I don't want to buy a card where there's 15,000 examples. I want something more limited and a beautiful color match. And there it is. All right. And lastly, Blaine's Charizard. Not Bobby's Charizard, not Susie's Charizard. This is Blaine's Charizard with a nice rip there. I don't know what to do with it. It's very thin, so who knows what the heck happens from here. But you get much below this area. Again, not a lot of market memory, and you could start to grind lower at some point. And maybe it takes a few years for that to happen. All right, lastly, Tom Brady BGS9. I think I've said lastly to like the last three. I don't remember all these charts. I do it like over a period of a few hours. I don't remember. And so I think this is the last one for the high-end index, though. Tom Brady BGS9, top of the range here. Uptrend is still good, but it is at the top of the range where it's been selling in the past. So, but I mean, that's still half as much as like the Bowman, or excuse me, the PSA 10. So, it's at least price-wise, it might be a little bit more favorable. So anyways, Mike Trout, PSA 10, 2,700, 3,000, kind of your range. Couple of shots down at 2,500. Below that is more of a problem. So right now you're just in a consolidation, and you're at the lower end of that consolidating range here. Mike Trout, USA Baseball, PSA 10, 22. 2012 Prism getting a nice rip out of the range here. And if it comes back a little bit, it may present a nice buying opportunity as people start to look for alternative Mike Trout cards that don't cost thousands of dollars. Mike Trout, 2012 Prism PSA 9, presenting an opportunity at the bottom of its range. A lot of consolidation, so as far as this thing ripping up and making you millions of dollars, maybe not anytime in the near future, but your risk reward does set up at least favorably in the near term. In the Bowman Chrome Draft, BGS 9.5. Monster rip to this area of resistance, but it was a very thin volume. You just sit back and watch, and now you're getting another crack at that card here. So that is the Bowman Chrome BGS 9.5. So maybe pause this video and take a look at that one. Juan Soto, all right, Atomic Refractor. Love these PSA 10 right around its all-time highs here. So again, very thin volume. Does it keep going? I don't know. All I know is this is no one's ever paid more for it, or only one person has paid more for this thing in the history of this card than it is right now. So the probabilities don't favor it. But if you start to get more people on board, then off we go to the moon, right? As the kids would say. All right, Juan Soto, Pink Refractor PSA 10. Like this buyer here, and it continues to grind up. Didn't like that move. Didn't like that move. And now you're starting to see a few purchases, transactions in this area here. So if we break down, then maybe see at $800-900 again here. But for now, consolidating, and it could be a move higher if baseball season gets going and he gets off onto off on the right foot here. So I don't know if he really does that. He's kind of a slow starter here, but any opportunities, probably a great opportunity for that card. Chrome update last week. I saw this thing drop down to $225. It's like, all right, you can get it there, buy it, but it looks like a one-off. You may not have that opportunity. You did not have that opportunity, so now you're back up into the consolidation. The 250, 260 area is kind of the price now, and there you are. Tops Chrome, Fernando Tatis. This is the refractor in a PSA 10. All right, is this going to be the real deal this time? We had a little fake break here and kept grinding lower, a little false break here. Lots of buying in this area here, so I'm not sure that we go too much lower if we can't break out and sustain, but let's see what we get if we have a spring training and see if we can get this thing going a little bit here. So one to watch closely. Sure like those are nice cards. Sure like it. So, and the regular base PSA 10. All right. So, I mean, for a while here, this thing has just been grinding down. You had your support saying, below this, you probably, it seemed weird at the time, but $70 to $100 could be your price, and that's kind of where we're at. And so, I think that's, maybe that's good enough for now. So if he gets hurt, misses another, he's played the equivalent of like a full season, I think, to this point. If he keeps missing time, then that could be a real issue, but he sure makes up for it. Imagine if he puts together a full season, man. The guy's gonna hit like 60 home runs or something. So, all right, that's the target zone. Could be some more downside, I guess, on that one, but I think you're getting close enough if you're looking for a high grade base card. Vladdy, no number, ripping out of the zone. Couldn't hold it. Now you're at the bottom of the range and presenting a nice opportunity to get into that card if that is what you're looking for. Now below this, well, we'll see. I think it gets snapped up pretty quickly, but it doesn't matter what I think. The charts will tell us, and the trend, I guess you could draw a parallel line here and say the trend is down on that one, I guess. But anyways, risk reward right now sets up at least favorably. So Chrome Prism Refractor, kind of the top of the range. So are the Vladdy cards ready to roll over? I don't know. So, but this is getting a little bit toppy. Not too many sales have happened above this, and so $90 looks good. $200, so that may be a little bit rough for that PSA 9 Prism Refractor. Aaron Judge Refractor catching $180 for the PSA 10, so $60 is kind of your fair value for the 9, which is I think that's the, well, I don't want to spoil it for him. A good friend of ours, he picked one up at that number, and I think I've been looking for one as well, and that might be the spot for a PSA 9. But Aaron Judge, when he plays, this is a top 5 player. The problem is he doesn't play all the time. So he had a full season last year, and it was a beast. He was a beast. Can he do that going forward? Is kind of the bet on this one. The market's priced that in. I mean, think about a PSA 10 refractor for like you can just say with a Tatis or Vlad or anything like that. Some of those younger guys is like, yeah, that could be, if you start stringing together a couple of years, people are more confident in his ability to stay on the field. That could be a bigger card. Shohei Ohtani, Topps Chrome update. PSA 10 continues to grind lower. Buying this one, 140, 145 is kind of your line in the sand on that particular card. And the Topps update rookie debut couldn't hold this break out of the range. And I look at this one occasionally, even though I was like, yeah, bullshit. But $80 to $100 is kind of the number we've had for a while. And maybe it makes it down. They're giving you a better opportunity for that card. Wander Franco, Megabox, PSA 10, a lot of sideways action here, giving you a lot of time to buy this card here. So He looks like the real deal here, and that could be a big card going forward. Jared Kellnick, top of the range, coming out just a little bit. I sure like Kellnick. I'd like to get some of his cards. He's being priced in as someone who's done a whole lot, and he hasn't. I believe he will, but he just hasn't yet, and so I want to kind of see it. But that the price is the price. It is what it is, and it's coming back into an area that may give you a little bit better opportunity to buy. Now below this probably means he starts off really crappy during the season, and then by 2, I think, is that how that one goes. So Barry Bonds, Tiffany, PSA 9, giving you another shot on that card. High price, about $3,000. So it's cut down by 2/3 here, and there you go. That's kind of the price. That's where it's been, and if it can't hold that, then we'll change our mind. All right, football. Don Brady, Bowman Chrome, base raw. Up into here, it's just like, all right, not only are you at resistance, but the base raw costs as much as like a PSA 9 chrome, which made 0 sense. Okay, now it makes sense. There you go. there's your Brady, or you want it. So Patrick Mahomes, liked it here, got up here. It's like, that's too much too fast. Look for something in here. You got it, but then there's a one-off that's bringing us down here, which may be a bit of a problem, but this is a decent area for buying, and so if you're able to get that price, I think, it doesn't matter what I think, right? But I would say that there's probably a decent chance that it comes in here. I mean, there's just too many people buying in here for this to be the new price all of a sudden. Now, if it is the new price, then all these people are underwater, and that might bring them out here. So we'll see. My guess that you're not going to hold me to is that we do see something up in this $500-600 area in the next sale or two. So we'll see how it goes. Fun to make guesses, right, people? All right, Patrick Mahomes, Donruss PSA 9. That is the base, top of the range, coming off a little bit here. Risk reward was unfavorable. We're like, all right, look for this thing to roll over a little bit, and it's doing it, but it's there's a lot of volume there, so that it just collapses. But if it grinds a little bit lower, that could certainly be the case on that one. Joey B, PSA 10. All right, up into our resistance zone. Best case scenario is kind of sideways action. Worst case is don't hold it and start coming back, and it looks like that's the case right now. We still have a couple days before the game starts here, so this is a nice run, but it may be getting a little bit stretched, a little bit tired here, so we'll see how it goes. Again, a good game, you could see a pop, and then off season, nothing happening. Again, this is kind of the area, I think, where a lot of people are happy to get their money back and maybe make a sale here. Joe Mixon, top of the range, coming off, may give you another shot in that $40-50 area. Who knows? Matty Staffy, refractor, raw. Again, a lot of sideways action here. He's a terrific season, but let's see what happens after the Super Bowl. The top half of the range at least, so it's not the most exciting area to buy or anything like that, but it's not the worst spot in the world. All right, looks like Ben Simmons just got traded. Maybe we'll take a live look at the end of this. Right, you know what? There's not going to be any data on it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to have the live quote or anything, so one to watch for. We'll see what happens here. I think some people have been on that one, and maybe there's something that comes of it, but that was an important message, and I guess it kind of was. So, all right, Cooper Kupp. A lot of buying in here, so this is interesting. This looks like and kind of feels like a one-off if you're able to get it in there, which you probably aren't. This is probably the price, at least for the next couple of days before it comes back down, at least. But one person thinks this is the price recently. A lot of people think this is the price. We will see who is correct. Aaron Donald thought this was a pretty good spot for him, and he's grinding upwards. And he's coming off a little bit here, so you probably get another shot in the near future. Again, you're so close. They're hyper relevant right now. You're so close to this. To the Super Bowl just being passed. It's just like, I don't think you need to do anything right now with a lot of these guys, but those are your Super Bowl players, except for this, in addition to this last guy, who's probably the greatest of all time. And, it doesn't matter when you buy this one, you're always going to make money. Women are going to like you. And it's just, you cannot go wrong with buying a Hingle McCringleberry rookie. This is the only player that was inducted into the Hall of Fame, really, just because they're like, why would we wait on this card here? So this has just been a monster. It's consolidating. And if you can get your hands on this card, no one's going to give it up. Again, I mean, they'll probably give up their firstborn child first. Be like, listen, you want my Hingle McCringleberry? Take little Bobby here. Take a little Susie. I got to hang on to my Hingle McCringleberry. So again, expect this one to go to the moon. All right, LeBron James, PSA 10, Topps Chrome. Consolidate. This is our support zone right here. It's kind of your line in the sand, and there's a lot of people that are coming in right now, saying, hey, sure, line in the sand sounds great. Still on a sell signal here. The bands are narrowed. They're kind of flattening out. And so, again, you're just going to see this thing drift, if anything. It's not like it's just going to absolutely puke with no one coming in to try and catch the bottom or anything like that. But this is your last chance before the thing potentially gets cut in half again. So, well, again, we'll see. We'll see. So, all right, John Morant, hollow PSA 10 near the top of the range. So, at an interesting level of near-term support. But, again, your risk reward sets up a bit unfavorably. It's been a pretty nice run here, but your risk reward again unfavorably below this, then it could get a little bit choppy. But there's a lot of buying in here, so could stabilize, and we'll see what happens. So we'll just watch that one from time to time. And Giannis PSA 10, it's kind of your bottoming area right here. When it does get to the lower end, it's a one-off, and the momentum is really, really tight. Those bands are really, really tight, and so even if it does kind of grind lower, there should be a lot of volume on those. But yeah, the trend remains down, but this seems like as good a spot as any for the near term for a guy who's winning championships, MVPs, all that kind of good stuff here. So Kevin Durant, is this a problem for the Kevin Durant market here? So he's been grinding lower. This is a good support area until it isn't, and right now it isn't. So again, one sale, a lot of people, this is the price. One person, this is the price. We'll have to see what happens, but if it can't recapture this one, that could be a big problem because there's no market memory here. Not saying this thing's gonna go down to $50. That would be fairly ridiculous, and you'd have too many people wanting to buy. It would overwhelm whatever supply, and the price would go up. So I'm leaning towards one off on this one, but we haven't seen a price this low for quite a while. Again, the average ring about $600, which is whatever it is, but currently sitting under sub $200. So again, PSA 9, but hey, it is what it is. All right, wrap it up with some hockey. Connor McDavid, nice bounce off of support, but it is a broken uptrend. So I think your best case right now is kind of sideways action and actually coming back down to the lower part of this range, which we haven't seen for a while. You could see some lower prices. Right now it's sitting at 3,000. So, I mean, if it came down to 2,400, that's not insignificant. Maybe that's where it has to go quickly before perhaps jumping back up. So we'll see Ovechkin at support and getting a nice little lift off that with a couple purchases. So it's important to know your support and resistance. And real life example, you have some sort of prior reference point. And so this particular stock had your fake break, which we've talked about, a nice ascent here, but when the momentum started rolling over, that is your warning, and the volume started to thin out. And then this is kind of your line in the sand. Not much you could do because in one day it lost like 26%, but it came back to this prior reference point, and you're seeing buying pick up very quickly on that one. So, real world. So I just take the real world and apply it to this, and it's all just human psychology. Basically, we've got millions of years of evolution in us, and we're not getting rid of that, overnight or anything like that. So, all right, end lecture. All right, last card here. Kirill Kaprizov, raw young guns, top of the range, but it's grinding upwards. This could be a monster card down the road. Dude looks awesome, and I'm not saying that just because I'm a Wild fan, but I mean, I'm saying it partially because I'm a Wild fan, but not just because I'm a Wild fan. But yeah, it looks good. If you can get a little bit better price than terrific, something around $100. But my gosh, dude looks like a beast. So that's what I have for you. Have a terrific rest of the weekend. Happy birthday to Cody. You have your big live stream tonight. I apologize. I've got a date with the wife that never happens, and I'm excited for it, but I'll try and drop in later. So everybody else, have a terrific weekend. We'll talk to you later, and be good. All right.